I graduated in 2007 with a bachelor's of science and biology. And before I matriculated into the postgraduate studies and things of that nature, it was quite common to have discussions with some African-American females who were in my cohort doing the same or studying the same major as I was. Many of them, notably, who were much more on the ball than me at that time, went on dental school. Some of them went on the medical school. Some of them went on the law school. They're doing very, very well for themselves at this point. But they were talking about what they didn't want in a man. These are the things that their potential mate had to get. If he didn't get it, then it was nothing that they could do for him. They just were not going to lower their standards. And now it's quite interesting that 70% of them are still single. But that's another whole video. And I had to respect where they were coming from, because I believe in equality under the law. I believe in equality of speech. I believe not in hate speech, but I believe in equality under the law. That means if you can dish something, I should be able to dish it back, and we can all go back and, forget about it. So they were saying some pretty pejorative things. I took no offense to it. And they were talking about how a lot of these black men are mama's boys. A lot of these black men, and you hear that even today on social media, black men, they have mommy issues. And some of them prefer white girls because they hate black women. And, that was the kind of talk even back then. And I didn't say anything. I listened to it. And they made a case that they was not interested in dealing with a man that had any issues because it was not their problem. They studied. They went to school. They worked hard. They wanted to live in a nice community, and they didn't want to have to deal with a man that had personal issues because it's not their issue. And again, I say that because I believe in equality of speech. However, it has come a time for black men to somewhat retort that message. And after a brother has achieved at least something in his life, whether that be, education, whether that be personal business, and he's able to at least view some of the nicer things in life, even from a middle class perspective, that brother can develop something what is called higher standards. And after dealing with certain circumstances by trial and error, he can find out, I like this, I don't like that, and this is what's best for me and my personality, and that's what I'm going to live to. I'm not accepting anything less than that. Now, when the African American man or the black man comes out and say, I'm not dealing with no woman with no kids, I'm not dealing with no women that are obese, I'm not dealing with no women that have daddy issues, okay? I'm not dealing with any of that circumstances. And you say, well, why are you not dealing with it, brother? Don't you want to help build the community? Don't you want to help the race? Listen, I've studied for so long. I've worked my ass off for so long. When I come home, I don't want to deal with anybody's personal problems. I want to come home and deal with life, and I like it. I don't care if she's white. Don't care if she's black. Don't care if she's red. That's what I'm doing. And then brothers start to really act on it, which is a lot more different than African American women. They more talk about it, don't really act as much. Black men start to really act on it. Now, if a black man says that, it is considered hate speech. He all of a sudden doesn't like his mother. He is cooning for the white man. All of these other epithets are bestowed upon him for basically giving the same retort that some African American women gave. And see, I want to come back and have a conversation with African American women just for this once in 2019. I won't address you anymore. I want to talk about equality under the law and the just behind it. because there are a good deal of African American women, although they may not be feminists, they agree with some of the qualities of feminism. And feminism was supposed to give men and women equal rights under the law. It was supposed to give women and men equal playing field in the United States. But when we go into our courts, when there's a separation and there's a qualified father to take custody of a child, we are not seeing equality under the law. We are seeing 95 to 97% of the time, those children are going with their mothers. It doesn't matter that, men perform better as single parents than women do. This is what we're seeing under the law. It's unequal. And also, for those men who can do certain things and say the same things women say, it's hate speech. They're flagged down. I even saw on Twitter certain hashtags that says hashtag female supremacy. Now, I want to talk about equality under the law and bring the light until I think it's the Southern Poverty Law Center. And the Southern Poverty Law Center was developed, I believe, many years ago to talk about who were hate individuals. And they have this thing called the hate map. And who are hate groups? Now, if you look at hate groups on their website, I'll talk to you about that. They're black nationalist groups. They're male supremacist groups. They're white supremacist groups. And there's male supremacist groups. Now, I can't get into contact what those guys say or what they talk about. But I do know that if you Google hashtag female supremacy, and you see what you see on Twitter and those people who are behind them, there's even a website that's called that. There's hashtags and posts on Instagram that say that. But if you understand, there are no people, no group that the Southern Law Poverty Center deem as female supremacist groups. But MGTOW is a hate group, and other people are hate groups. But women can come out and distinctly say they are for female supremacy, yet the Southern Law and Poverty Center will not deem them a hate group. This is what we're talking about in Black America, and I deal really with black issues. When black men, we see such inequality in such a system. This is one of the reasons why men do not participate. Black men in particular, we don't participate in marriage. You can talk all you want. Well, black men, they were harassing black women in the day. Black men have never oppressed black women. Okay. You go to many black churches. If you go to black churches, you will see more black female pastors than you go to any other community. Okay. Black men typically don't have a problem with females in the position of authority or leadership, whether that's in churches, whether that's in businesses, whether that's as community leaders. That's always been the case with us. But when we want to have a situation when we're talking about equality under the law, black men understand there is no equality under the law. And this is one of the reasons why there will always be some sort of divide between black men and black women for this reason. And I think that if we're going to ever have an honest conversation, I do not believe that will happen. You have to be able to dish it if you're going to dish it. And take it, not dish it and go tell on somebody. And see, these things are positions that I am dealing with whenever brothers say something about their own personal experience. And it's something that, and I got to talk about it now. Let's say, for example, if a black man will say, black women tend to be a little bit more aggressive and less feminine in comparisons to other groups. A lot of black men and black women themselves will agree to that. Okay, under certain circumstances that have created these situations. But then you will have people that will come out and say that is hate speech. You will have brothers that will come out and say, I've had such a situation. I've been abused as a child. This happened to me. People will want to shut them up. But if a woman comes out and says, I've been abused by my father or stepfather, I was molested, all of these things, we can accept it. We can listen to it. This is what I'm telling black men right now. In 2019, there is no equality of speech. And the best way that brothers can move is to completely just leave it alone. This cannot be won in a debate. This situation cannot be settled in a consultation. This is something that you settle with your actions. And your actions should be worried about yourself, worried about what you need to do for you, straying away from arguments or debates with women about this, talking about women in a pejorative fashion. These are the things that you do, and let them handle themselves. The system protects women, and they give them an equal advantage. You can never beat them there. You can never do it. And even if you try to voice your opinion of how you're trying to be without being disrespectful, it's still going to be considered. Oh, you're talking down. Oh, you see, in all of these things, this is why there is no room for excuses. And I will tell you this in 2019, black men, we must be equal. If people don't want to hear your excuses, you don't have to hear theirs. If nobody can accept your shortcomings and your downfalls, you should not accept theirs. If people want you to be at a certain standard, you should want them to be at a certain standard. That's equality. It's equality under the law. That's your civil liberty to want that. If people cannot deal with that, then that's on them. But you have that right as a man. I just wanted to say that we'll be doing a live stream on the show. I want to talk about that. And, I really want to thank everybody for the support this year. It was a very, very great year in 2018. Let's do it again in 2019. I always look for one new person to become a Patreon of the channel. patreon.com/Negromanosphere. I've put it there. Also, what you can do is check out the newest video that Solo TV84 made for us about the same subject. He really went into great extreme with it. So I really, really hope that you can participate in that. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I look forward to speaking with you, and join us over on the Brother Pill in about 20 minutes on the Oshay Vlogcast channel for the same topic. And again, as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.